Hi guys, it's Matt here again, and today I'm going to be answering some of your questions that I got on one of my previous videos about sentence mining. I picked out 5 questions. I'm not sure if I'm going to get through them all in this one video. I might not, so I might make another video on this and answer the rest of the questions. Let's just get into this. So the first question I've got was, how should I rate monolingual cards in Anki? Should I press good when I recall a full definition, when I understand the sentence, when I can understand or translate a word in my head? Basically how to rep monolingual flashcards. So this is a good question. A lot of people feel like this going through the process, and I felt the exact same way. It was something that I had to figure out myself because no one else, when I was going through AJAT, like the community was dead. There was just no other people posting about AJAT at all, and about how to sort of do all these small things that you sort of think about a lot. And so it was very difficult for me. I ended up just having to sort of figure it out myself and sort of just kind of winging it to a certain extent. Basically, there's a few things that I want to break down from this question. The first thing I want to quickly point out is, when he says, when I can understand or translate a word in my head. When it comes to monolingual, you don't want to be translating. It's just not good for your language ability. When you're learning Japanese, what you want to be doing is you want to be learning Japanese so that you can speak Japanese and think you can speak in Japanese without using English. Basically, you can think in Japanese. So your brain, when you go, right, okay, this person's a Japanese person, I'm going to have a conversation with them, your brain just switches into Japanese mode and you just start speaking Japanese without even thinking about it. That's what we're trying to do here. That's what, this whole method, I guess, using immersion to learn languages, that's what it does for you. So we don't want to use English as a crutch the entire way, because having English there will make you more likely to build sentences in your head in English before you say something in Japanese. So essentially, you will think about what you want to say in Japanese. You'll think about how to say it in English first, and then you will translate it into Japanese in your head like a maths equation, and then you'll say it. It's not good. It's slow. It's painful. It's painful for you and the person you're talking to. So it's just, I wouldn't advise ever thinking about translating. You just kind of want to understand. And I know that's kind of vague for now, but it is literally is what it means. So if you get the sentence and you read it once or twice, you think you know what it means, you get a rough sort of picture in your head, maybe you remember the scene at which you took this sentence from, you can kind of get a rough understanding as to what it means based on that scene. Then you press space, you read the back of the card, you check the meanings of the definitions of different words and grammar pieces, and providing that those definitions match up with your understanding, then you can pretty much be 90% sure that you understand the sentence. And so you can hit OK, you can hit good and move on. I do want to say, with the different buttons in Anki, I haven't looked into it personally myself just yet. Anki's buttons, I've heard from BritVSJapan and other people, the hard and the easy buttons are pretty much not worth using, purely because apparently the hard button is actually programmed pretty poorly. It doesn't do necessarily what it should do, and the easy button is kind of useless because you might as well just hit good. If you use the easy button on something that's easy, there's a good chance you probably don't really need to know that card, I guess. There's an argument there, but as I say, I'm not entirely sure about it. I would personally, and it's what I've been doing for absolutely ages now, is just use good and try again. You either know it or you don't, basically, is my take on this. Oh, full definition, right. So I'm not sure entirely what this person means here by full definition. So I'm going to go on the assumption that they mean recording the full dictionary definitions for every single word in that sentence, which is, in my opinion, is a waste of time and just overkill. I know people have done this and some people do this, and I'm pretty sure I remember BritVSJapan saying that he did do this, and I know that he can recall a lot of these definitions off the top of his head for specific words, and that's absolutely crazy. But it has, in my opinion, no real use in the real world. So unless you want to be like, unless you want to win like a Japanese spelling bee competition, and that kind of thing, or a dictionary lookup competition, if that thing even exists, then I don't think that it's a worthwhile skill to invest time into. So I would not try to recall all the definitions. You just want those definitions there as sort of a way of checking that you understand the sentence once you show the back of the card. That's all they're there for. You don't even have to add them. It's, you can, if you're lazy and you can't be asked. I did it a lot. I added cards with no meanings on the back. I just added the cards because I was pretty sure I understood the sentence. So it's perfectly fine to do like that. And basically the overall process is, you read the sentence, think about the sentence, what message is being conveyed, and then just hit the spacebar on Anki, check the back. So when you look at the back, you first want to read the sentence again, make sure you got the furigana readings correct. So make sure you've correctly read it the first time. If you haven't correctly read it, then I would click try again, just because it means that you, at some point, there's a word in there that you don't know how to read properly. So, just try it again. You can learn how to read it the next time it comes up, or hopefully you'll remember it then. And then if that's fine, then check the meanings, the dictionary definitions, check that they match up with your understanding. If they don't match up with your understanding, then first assume that you are probably wrong in the fact that your understanding of the flashcard is probably incorrect. However, there are times where you have, like, in a moment of tiredness, or you may have made the flashcard months ago, and you may not have been able to read a dictionary properly back then, and you may have selected the incorrect definition from the dictionary. This does happen sometimes. It's common. It's perfectly okay. It's not, don't get down about it. But if you notice that the definition is really, really off from your understanding of the sentence, then it might be worth double checking in the dictionary again, and just seeing if there are any other definitions that are slightly different that match up with the actual sentence. I can remember having plenty of meanings, like the dictionary definitions, even having the incorrect reading. So basically, I chose a word that basically has the same kanji and like ends in like de, or like has the same ending, so it looks like it's the same word, but it's actually pronounced completely differently. And I would have, I've had definitions like that before, even though that's something that's quite easy to notice, sometimes it can happen. So, but yeah, don't worry about all these things, just go with the flow, basically. And that's kind of, that's pretty much it. Don't translate, and just check that you got everything right. If you have something wrong, hit try again. If you've got it, if you've got it all right, you're pretty sure you understand the sentence, hit good. Okay, so the next question is, did you have the Japanese on the front with the Japanese audio from Substr SRS in your sentence mining? So what this is referring to is the use of in Substr SRS, when you convert your sentence cards, you have the option, if you have the video file, of using the audio, the original source audio, which is a really good feature because it gives you a direct access to basically how that sentence is pronounced, which is really good because you can double check essentially that you're pronouncing it correctly, and that the furigana generation in Anki isn't incorrect, which is also a plus. But it also reinforces your, listening ability slightly. And the reason why I always put the audio on the back is simply because it's kind of cheating if you put it on the front. The whole point of a sentence in sentence mining and in this process is to recognize, pretty much just read the sentence and try to recall the understanding of that sentence. So you are essentially recognizing kanji, and then you're trying to recall the reading and the understanding of those kanji. And so if you had the audio on the front, then as soon as you hit space from the previous card and you go on to the next card, the audio will automatically play. And especially in the beginning stages, you won't be reading fast enough to be able to keep up with the audio. So the person in Japanese will be speaking, they'll say the entire sentence before you even get a chance to read the audio. So read the actual text. So if you're training your reading abilities using sentence mining, then this is just completely pointless, because what you end up doing is you just listen to the audio. You won't read the sentence, or you might read it sloppily because you've kind of listen to it, so you might not read it, and it kind of just defeats the whole point. If you want to improve your listening abilities, then it might be worth having just audio on the front of a card and then having everything else on the back, like the sentence, and then the meaning and stuff like that, like flip it around essentially. That could be one way of doing it. It's not a flashcard that I've ever used, that I've ever made. I do think that some people are starting to use this. I'm not entirely sure, but I've heard of people using it. So it might be worth looking into if you're thinking of improving your listening. But if you're trying to improve your reading abilities using sentence mining, then definitely don't do this. Don't put the furigana and don't put the audio on the front of the card, because it makes it too easy. I don't think it's a good idea personally. I think it's probably just cheating yourself out of like actually learning. I think it'd be best to just keep anything that's giving you clues as to how the sentence is read, keep all that stuff on the back. So my layout is the sentence on the front, and possibly, if I'm using Substar SRS, a picture of the scene that the line is set in. That's just to give me some context. It doesn't really help in any way to do with like the linguistics side of remembering the sentence, like how to read it or what it means. It helps you remember where the sentence came from, and in some cases it can make the sentence more comprehensible, which just makes it slightly easier. But as I say, it doesn't help you remember what the sentence means necessarily. It kind of does like indirectly with comprehensible input, but that's okay. But it doesn't directly. It's not directly cheating where it like basically gives you the answer for you. So that's perfectly fine to do. And then on the back, you'd have the sentence again with furigana or just the reading. And then you'd have the dictionary definitions and any other images of like nouns, and then audio from Substar SRS, which will, if you're on the PC version, will play automatically. And that's all that I would have on there. The next question is any recommendations on how to get started with monolingual flashcards? Specifically, what sort of Japanese to Japanese dictionary do you recommend? Is it something online, or should we also have a printed one? Thank you for your feedback. Well, I've already kind of mentioned it on my sort of recommendations, I guess, on how to actually do monolingual flashcards and how to like answer them. So I won't go into that too much. What I will say is I use a program called Quillibri. This is a program that actually BritVSJapan suggested to a lot of people in one of his videos, and I'll link to that in the description. And that video shows you how to use it and how to download it, and how to install the dictionary files for it. So I highly recommend you check that out. Basically, it has loads of different dictionary files for Japanese, usually like the really top dictionaries that are widely known, like Kojien and Daijirin, and there's a few others in there as well. So it has all of those. You just chuck them into this program. You can choose which ones you want to turn off, which ones you want to turn on, and yeah, you can go from there. For which dictionaries are better, I don't really know. I didn't find a perfect one, and I didn't really sort of notice any of them that stood out. I just made sure I turned all of the Japanese ones on, or the English ones off. And I would often end up using probably Daijirin and Kojien. And I actually have my own copy of Kojien. It's a massive, great big thing. It's absolutely huge. It's very expensive though. And whether it's worth actually buying it, I would say it's probably not. Purely because you can get it in digital format and it's easier to use as in digital format. It'd probably be worth actually buying like the app on your phone instead of actually buying the physical book. However, if there was one physical book that I could recommend, it would be I actually can't remember the title, but it's basically for school kids. I will post a link to the description to it in the description below if I can find it again. I'm pretty sure I've got it on my website. I will just have a quick check. But this is one that I bought when I actually was first doing the monolingual transition, and it's basically a dictionary for kids, and it has fully gone out for every single kanji in the dictionary. It's actually one that's been recommended by by Katz himself. I'm pretty sure, or was it his girlfriend? I think his girlfriend might have bought it and she used it and she said it was really good. Now, of course, you can get, digital dictionaries and where you can just look up the words really quickly if you can't read them. But I did find this especially easy to read because it was just a case of like, you can use it like a normal English dictionary basically, because you could open the dictionary up, you could find the word, that you need to find, and you could just read the sentence without worrying about kanji, which is just really, really useful. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You can get it off Amazon. I will probably put that as an affiliate link just to let you guys know. But yeah, and I mean, you can get it for pretty cheap, to be honest. And for a dictionary, the price is pretty decent. It's got, like the majority of the Japanese language in it. It's not huge, but it's not tiny either. So you could easily carry it around. And it's definitely got enough in it for you to actually, actually use it. It's not like it's a really small one, it's a proper size dictionary. So I would recommend checking that out if you're looking at getting a physical one. But if you're not, definitely use Quilbry. It's a godsend. It's really good. And in terms of actual dictionaries, which ones are the better ones? As I said before, I don't really know which ones are better than which, because I used Quilbry. I used whatever came first or whatever I understood first. That's the beauty of Quilbry, is because, you have so many dictionary definitions come up at once that you could just find one that you understand and use that. What I will say about Quilbry though is I've been reading it for a bit, and it's full of a lot of fluff. By fluff I mean like famous people from all around the world that are really random, that I guess they probably aren't that random. They probably have a lot of meaning in like history and like art and stuff, but they're all people that I just have no idea who they are, and like it has like a huge excerpts on them, and I'm just like, it's kind of annoying because I wanted the dictionary for Japanese words, not really just like famous people, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird that they put that in the dictionary, but however, Quilbry does have some really awesome stuff to do with Japanese history, and there's like some really cool, like weird, like really weird tools that Japanese people used to use and stuff in there from like the old times. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's one of the most renowned ones because it has so much in it, and it's just like really robust and is full of everything pretty much. But as I say, it's very expensive. Yeah, I will put a link to it in Amazon, but I wouldn't recommend buying it. It's just way too much money for what it's worth. Okay guys, so this video is getting pretty long, so I'll end it here and I'll upload the rest in a separate video. I don't want to make this too long. I feel like it would just go on forever if I kept on, answering every single question. So I'll just make this into a little series, I guess. And if you guys feel like having your question answered, then feel free to leave a comment in the, in any of my videos, and I will probably answer it at some point. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you found it useful, then don't forget to check out my website where I've got other stuff, other free content up on there. And if you found this video really helpful, then you can always support me on Patreon. And I would just like to say thank you to Eric, R, Diedrich, and everybody else who support me on Patreon right now. You guys mean so much to me, and you've just, yeah, it's awesome seeing the support I'm getting on such a small channel, and I'm looking to grow and improve and help more of you. So don't forget to just ask me questions whenever you feel like it. This is, kind of my job. Not my full-time job, but it was kind of my job. So yeah, anyway guys, I'll see you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.